performance or lift? Do you see any impact on his play in these last two games?
Actually, he played his best and physically looked his best in the fourth quarter. And he has a way of overcoming everything. He just got done with a workout right now. I think these 2 days were really important. He feels much better.
Just to take it back to Milwaukee and then move on, but obviously the shooting was great throughout the series, but how much of that was the comfort your ball handlers had, especially knowing that they could come off the screen and get a look pretty much whenever they needed it because of the space that they had?
That's probably a part of it. I think our shooters have been trending in a great way for a while. A lot of this league, for shooters is just feeling comfortable, with your role, consistency, how you're fitting into the offense, all that. That's stabilized now for the last couple of months. So I think you've seen the guys just a lot more comfortable, and we needed it. We don't need a high volume. We don't need to shoot 55 threes a game, but there is that symbiotic relationship, of our spacing and our attacking and making sure that we're getting a good balance of both.
Erik, how long did it take for you to get comfortable with what comes with Jimmy? Like, just this year, All-Star break, for example. Guys in theory want to rest, and Jimmy flew halfway around the world in search of a better coffee bean, and then he goes to LA on an off day for Powell, and it makes it all work. Like, it didn't take away from the work at all, and he comes back and he's great on these trips. And it's unusual, but he makes it work. How long did it take you to figure out that he really is different in a lot of those ways? And did you have to sort of adjust the way you coach guys, because just give them more freedom? Or it's unusual to take long trips and then come back and be great, I guess is what I'm getting at. And what he did it twice in like 2 weeks this year.
Yeah, but he's all about the right things. He takes competition very seriously, as we all know. That's probably the understatement of the year. But he's wired like us, so he's going to always take care of his body, and that's going to be a priority. Making sure that he's ready to compete at a high level. He's extremely intelligent, so he understands game plans. He understands what we're trying to do, what they're trying to do, and how to get them out of what they're good at. And yeah, he's like wants to live an interesting life. You got to respect that. But he is very serious about winning, and that's a very common language, for us. I guess the short way to answer that would be it didn't take long to figure out how serious he was about winning and how aligned it was with us. And you want young guys coming into this league to model that kind of approach, to practice his games, all the things that lead up to it. Anything else, like he can manage all that. He's been around in this league long enough that he figures out how to manage things and still be ready.
On paper, New York runs a lot of drop, just like Milwaukee does, but they do things pretty differently and they change the depth. What are you going to have to adjust, and what are you going to have to have your players adjust to with what's a similar style of coverage? But
yeah, it's different though, because they can be in a full drop, but they also can trap on pick and rolls. They can also do that mid catch blitz, a little bit like what Denver does. They bring over a third defender a lot of times. They're great at protecting the paint, the rim, attacks, all that stuff. That's been a full season of habits that they've built. They're not going to just glitch and give an easy basket. You have to really work your offense. You have to be detailed. You have to do things with pace, and utilize all the different kinds of weapons in your menu. To be able to, you just can't keep on going to the same thing over and over. But that's what good defenses do. You have to find a way to create weaknesses out of their defense and get to places where you're living in your strengths.
You obviously have a good thing going with Gabe and Kyle with how they're playing. And when you brought Kyle back off the bench, it was obviously to preserve the knee. That said, not every player who started 10 years in a row would happily accept that. When you broached it with him, was there any uneasiness initially on your part, wondering how he would react? Or did you know he's the type of guy who will accept this? And how happy have you been that he's accepted it cheerfully?
Yeah, I think in these kind of situations when you're dealing with a highly proven, decorated veteran player, championship player, you just want to approach it with deep respect, first and foremost. The first decision to bring him off the bench was an easy one. We were fully all on the same page about it. This is what had to be done to be able to control the minutes. I've joked about it, but even doing that the first game, the head coach, just was not disciplined to the plan, and all of a sudden it was 36 minutes. That's the whole point of bringing him off the bench. So that was, and then from there, it was just making sure that physically he was ready to be able to perform at a high level in the playoffs when it kicks into another gear, as we all see. And I think the plan was very well thought out, and everybody was on the same page about it. And there was constant communication. And then, yes, as he started to get healthier and able to play more minutes, it's just one of those things that we dealt with so much inconsistency this year and a lot of moving parts that we would just stay with this just for the sake of stability and consistency. He has been great about it. He is all about winning right now. He's playing a massive role, with us right now. But that's why he is who he is. If you're all about winning, you'll sacrifice if you need to, take on a little bit of a different role if you need to, if it makes sense for winning. You can always look at it like, he's a sixth starter, but we're all beyond that right now. We're beyond labeling stuff, beyond what the role is. Right now, it's just everybody has to contribute to win, and the guys that are available are all playing like big minutes, and we need everybody right now.
Looking at Jalen Brunson, what's sort of the challenge of defending him, and is it almost similar in the way that Jimmy Butler gets to his spots, the way that Jalen will try to get to his spots?
That's not a bad comparison. They're different players though, because Brunson's doing it at the point of attack, not playing off the ball as much. But he's really unique. You don't come across a player that is as crafty and aggressive and physical, but also can get you off balance. And when he's in the paint and around the basket and in a crowd, that's probably where he's most comfortable. That's super unique. And his pivots, his ability to draw fouls, his ability to finish at the rim is uncanny. So you have to have great discipline. You have to know the tendencies and just compete. Like, he's a competitor, so you have to compete. It's not all going to look perfect. You just got to compete and find a way to get it done.
I'm just curious if you have an opinion on this, just given the history between the two franchises and the markets involved. Do you think Heat-Knicks is good for the NBA as a playoff series?
Yeah, I do. I don't think it matters to either of the locker rooms,
right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like those battles were so long ago. It probably means something to the organizations, but ultimately, this is about trying to accomplish something huge. But for the league and just for the interest, the league is in such an awesome place right now, and we all want to be a part of that. We all want that to keep on going, and certainly the storyline for the fan bases and the media, and I'm sure all the things that you can push out there now. Yeah, that's good. That's good for the game. It's good for the interest. We want people watching this series. It's great competition. The 4 games that we played were all down to the wire. So if it adds to helping more people watch this series, that's great. But again, for the players in the locker room, this is just about right now. It's not about the history of it.
Is it kind of an overstated thing? Like Randall did the ankle again in Game 5, and you won't know until Sunday if he's going to go or not. And it's very similar to Giannis. Like, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Is it overstated, the whole notion of you have to come up with a plan for if this or that, or do you just?
You have to prepare for both. If he's available or not available, you have to be responsible with that. The thing about, I guess, the modern day NBA, and certainly this year, you just had to deal with a lot of unknowns. You can control what you can control. You prepare for that. We don't have a major prep lead up, so in many ways, we can just go in a clear mind, do our normal prep, and get ready for competition. We know how fierce it's going to be at 1 o'clock in the Garden, and our mentality would be the same. Just it's a quick turnaround, we like that. Drop us off in parachutes again, and let's be ready to compete.
After Jimmy saw so much single coverage in that series, are you expecting, obviously he can do this, but are you expecting him to have to engage playmaker mode a little bit more?
He might. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They're a well-schooled defense, so they can send traps, whether he's in the post or whether he's handling the ball or for end of clock. We have to be prepared for whatever. They did a lot of that in that first round series. Jimmy's a little bit different, so we'll just have to see. We have to get to our strengths. They're going to try to get us out of our strengths, and that's the deal of the playoffs. Who can get who to blink?
Obviously, for guys whose best NBA skill is shooting, confidence is such an issue, and Duncan obviously hoped he would play more. Is there a human side of this which makes you feel happy for the success he's having and that he has a role this postseason, seeing how he's kept himself ready?
Yeah, I've said this about the team and our season this year, that there's been a great beauty in the grind, a great beauty in the struggle, and things in this league are not always perfect. Sometimes there's seasons or periods of time during the regular season where there's just an incredible flow, and everything just seems to be clicking. But that's not the real NBA, and that's not real life. Outside of the building, you ultimately have to figure out, how to embrace things when they're not necessarily going perfectly, and still find a way, to persevere. And Duncan's proven that time and time again that he has incredible fortitude. It's not only being out of the rotation; it was dealing with once he got back in the rotation, then all of a sudden he got hurt. That can be really frustrating for a player. And then when he came back, he just had to work at it and stay ready, and all of a sudden something happens and he's fully in the rotation. But if you're not prepared, you're not mentally right, or if you're bitter or you're just focusing on all wrong things, then you can't capitalize on it when the team needs you. And that was not easy for him to be able to handle that. But yes, I am happy for him that he's got an opportunity. He's been able to be prepared to play well in important minutes and an important role for us, and the same thing will be in the second round.
Coach, I'll ask you about the great beauty in the clutch, because 54 of the 82 in the regular season were clutch. When you played that first round, I don't want to say comfort, but was there confidence when the games got tight at the end in terms of execution and just being here so consistently in the regular season? There's
definitely a familiarity of the games when they get really close. We have great competitors in our locker room. They love those moments, and we've been in so many of them that we've had a lot of heartbreaking, situations that we've had to cover, end of game situations, and things we could have done better. From that standpoint, I think we've all gotten better. Coaching staff has gotten better. We've been pushed so uncomfortably well this season. The players have gotten better. I think all those experiences have brought the team closer and more connected, and more on the same page, and that's what you always hope for with the regular season. And then I think there's just this also understanding that a all those experiences don't even guarantee anything. But yes, you can gain confidence in what we're trying to do and how we can find a way to win games, even when it's not going great.
How much influence has Tibbs had on defense in the NBA and how defense is played, especially like post hand check rules?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Probably a lot. The Chicago teams that we faced, 10, 12 years ago, those were some of the best defenses ever in this league. And there's been an incredible commitment on their part, to be able to still take away easy baskets, protect the paint, protect easy things that happen at the rim in a modern day space and speed league. And that's a credit, to him and his staff, and getting the commitment and buy-in of teams to be able to do that. It is not an easy task, and they've been able to do it, with the Knicks. That's the most pertinent thing. They have a philosophy that they all buy into. All right.
One more last question.
You might not have loved it in the moment, but UD getting the tech the other night, what did that do to the bench? What does that mean? Because it seemed like there was an obvious spark from it. What did you notice?
Yeah, UD is still the heart of our team, and he's taking a stand. It wasn't going to get to another level, so the league can just relax. I wasn't going to put him in the game, to do that type of business. But it was a message more to us, that this is going to be extremely physical, doesn't need to be taken over the top, but we can't take any SHIT, and we need to figure out how to kick this into another gear to get the job done. And that's what you have to love about UD. All right, thank you.